Imagine a farmer, living in a small village, surrounded by simplicity and the sound of the fields at dawn. His greatest treasure, however, wasn't the land or the harvest. It was an unexpected friend, a special goose, unlike any other animal. To many, it was just another goose, but to the farmer, it was unique. This goose held a valuable secret, something no one could imagine finding in a simple henhouse. A rare and brilliant mystery that would forever change the farmer's life. In the beginning, it was as if fortune had smiled upon him, bringing a golden gleam that the farmer found every morning. Each golden egg was a new hope, an opportunity for prosperity and comfort he had never imagined. But over time, this magic transformed into something darker, as a dangerous feeling began to grow in the farmer's heart: greed. What was once pure gratitude and joy turned into constant anxiety, a desire to want more and more at any cost. At first, he was content with each egg, one at a time, celebrating his good fortune. But soon, this desire to possess everything at once overtook him, like a shadow creeping closer until it covered everything around. He began to wonder if there weren't more riches inside the goose. Why wait, he thought, unaware that his impatience was consuming the happiness he once felt. This is a story that warns us of the dangerous path our desires can lead us down. Often, what seems like a dream of luck and prosperity may actually hide a lesson far more valuable than any wealth. When the farmer succumbs to greed and makes an impulsive decision, he doesn't realize the price he will pay. But in the end, one thing becomes clear: those who seek everything at once may end up with nothing. Not only are riches lost, but also what is truly precious: peace, contentment, and the ability to appreciate what we already have. Once upon a time, there was a farmer named Joachim. Joachim was a simple man, with calloused hands from working the land and a heart full of love for his animals. His farm was modest, but he took pride in every piece of land, every tree he had planted, and every animal he cared for. He would wake up before the sun, make his coffee, and head to the henhouse, where his animals waited eagerly to start the day. One day, during his morning routine, Joachim noticed something curious. As he approached the henhouse, he saw a strange shine among the straw in one of the nests. Intrigued, he moved closer, and with his heart beating faster in anticipation, he began to push the straw aside. There, among the feathers, lay something Joachim had never seen in his life: a golden egg. Yes, shining brightly, like a tiny sun fallen from the sky. This must be a dream, he thought, blinking several times to make sure it was real. The egg was so dazzling that it even seemed magical. Joachim carefully picked up the egg, feeling its weight in his hands and thinking that this might be a blessing from above. He knew something like this was unusual, and his mind began to fill with questions. How did this end up here? Could one of my geese be special? Then he looked to the side and saw his old friend Margarito, the friendliest and most peculiar goose on the farm. Margarito was a goose that Joachim had cared for lovingly since it was just a gosling, and the animal had always been different from the others. It had softer feathers, an almost human look, and seemed to understand every word Joachim said to it. Was Margarito trying to tell him something? Joachim stroked the goose's neck with gratitude. "It was you, wasn't it, friend?" he asked, still amazed. Margarito just made a soft sound, as if in agreement, and tilted its head towards Joachim. By now, Joachim was smiling from ear to ear. He wasn't sure how or why, but he knew that this golden egg was a gift, something special. And with the egg in hand, he imagined the possibilities. He could sell it in town and get what he needed to improve his farm and give a more comfortable life to himself and the animals. That day, Joachim went to the village with the egg in a small cloth bag, feeling like the luckiest man in the world. When he arrived at the market, he found a jeweler who almost fainted at the sight of the rarity Joachim brought. They bargained, and Joachim left with a small fortune. With a heart full of gratitude, he returned home and went straight to the henhouse to tell Margarito how everything had gone. Seeing the goose, Joachim laughed to himself. "Margarito, you won't believe it. I got enough money to buy new tools and improve the farm." And so it was. In the days that followed, everyone in the village talked about Farmer Joachim and his magic goose. The next morning, While Joachim was doing his morning routine, his heart raced again when he noticed another golden gleam among the straw. Another golden egg. He could not believe his luck. With a wide smile and a laugh of pure delight, he picked up the egg in his hands. "Margarito, you are truly a miracle." Thus, one golden egg a day became Joachim's new routine. He now had a new life, full of possibilities, thanks to his loyal friend Margarito, the magic goose. Little did Joachim know that this miracle would lead him to a difficult choice, testing his patience and revealing the effects of greed. As the days passed, Joachim and his magic goose Margarito seemed to have found the perfect routine. Every morning, Joachim would rush to the henhouse, and there was another golden egg, radiant and perfect, waiting for him. Over time, your small farm began to transform. With the money from the golden eggs, Joachim bought new tools, renovated the henhouse fence, and gradually added a new sturdy barn to house even more animals. With each improvement, Joachim felt prouder and at the same time, more ambitious. He began to realize that instead of selling eggs sporadically, he could plan for a future of great wealth. He started imagining the farm as an immense estate, with vast pastures, exotic animals, and luxuries that existed only in his imagination. After all, why settle for a small farm when I can build a real empire, he thought. But with this new grand vision, something inside Joachim began to change. The man who once felt grateful and happy with what he had started feeling that one egg a day wasn't enough. The wait between one egg and the next began to feel increasingly long, almost unbearable. Every night, he went to bed anxious to find the next egg in the morning, but now it didn't seem sufficient. "Why must I wait day after day for one golden egg when I could have them all at once?" he murmured, restless, as he lay in bed. Greed grew in his heart, but Joachim tried to push these thoughts away. "This is madness," he repeated to himself, reminding himself of how comfortable his life had already become thanks to Margarito's golden eggs. But each time he looked around and saw what he had already achieved, the idea of instant fortune haunted him even more. He imagined how much he could accomplish with all those golden eggs at once, and each day that desire became harder to resist. One morning, as he went to collect the egg from the henhouse, he found himself wondering if the goose was hiding more eggs somewhere. He began peering under the straw, turning over the nest and searching for any sign that other eggs might be there, waiting to be discovered. But Margarito just watched him, as if he knew Joachim's thoughts and was disappointed in his human friend. The villagers, noticing the changes on the farm, began to comment on Joachim's transformation. Once known for his kindness and simplicity, he now seemed more distant, restless, and spoke less with his neighbors. "It's like he has his eyes fixed on something no one else can see," they said. And indeed, Joachim could hardly think of anything else but the idea of possessing all the golden eggs at once. Until finally, Joachim made his decision. "I'll take all the eggs at once, and with them, I'll be able to expand the farm as I've always dreamed," he thought, convinced that this was the only choice that made sense. His thoughts of gratitude and patience had been replaced by an insatiable desire to possess more, and the only thing he needed to achieve this ambition was to sacrifice Margarito. That night, he couldn't sleep. He tossed and turned in bed, trying to shake off the guilt that gnawed at him. No matter how hard he tried to justify his decision, deep down, a voice told him he was about to make a mistake. But greed spoke louder, and with his heart racing and a knife in hand, he headed to the henhouse, determined to end the wait and finally discover how many golden eggs his loyal friend held. In the stillness of dawn, Joachim's and Margarito's fate was about to be sealed, and he had no idea he was just a step away from losing everything he had built with each day's hard work. In the silent early morning, Joachim entered the henhouse with his heart pounding. The full moon lit up the surroundings, casting long shadows that made everything seem more dramatic and, deep down, even a bit ominous. Knife in hand, he approached Margarito, who, as usual, greeted him with a trusting gaze. The goose made soft sounds, as if welcoming his owner and best friend. But that night, Joachim was not there for a friendly gesture. He was blinded by greed. In his mind, a single thought repeated incessantly, "Today, I will have all the golden eggs. I'll get all the fortune the goose hides." As he prepared to act, a slight hesitation came over him. Margarito looked straight into his eyes, and Joaquim felt a tightening in his chest. It was as if the goose, in silence, was pleading for him to reconsider. Margarito had been a loyal companion, laying a golden egg each day, bringing the prosperity Joaquim could never have imagined. But ambition was stronger than friendship, and he pushed that feeling away, deciding it was the only way to achieve his dreams. With a quick movement, Joaquim ended the goose's life. The adrenaline quickly gave way to impatient anticipation. Finally, he thought, his hands trembling with expectation. Now I'll find all the eggs Margarito had been hiding all this time. He carefully opened the goose, and to his surprise, he found no golden egg. There was only emptiness inside the animal that had once been his daily source of riches. Reality hit him hard. Joaquim didn't find even a trace of gold. The fortune he expected, the grand vision of a wealth-filled empire, crumbled before him like sand slipping through his fingers. Without Margarito, there would be no more golden eggs, and all he had left was the bitter realization that he had destroyed the only miracle in his life. Greed had blinded Joaquim, making him disregard the value of something constant and secure in exchange for an illusory promise of immediate wealth. Acting on impulse, he lost. Not only the golden eggs, but also the friend who helped him prosper were lost. The emptiness he felt now was deep, and nothing could fill it. Sitting beside Margarito, Joaquim let the sadness wash over him. All his efforts, all the changes he once valued so much, now seemed insignificant. He realized that his rush to have everything at once had led him to lose what was most precious. He understood too late that the true value lay in patience, daily dedication, and the loyalty he had traded for an insatiable desire. That night, Joaquim returned home without a word, and in the days that followed, he worked in silence, trying to overcome the regret that haunted him. The farm, once filled with hope and plans, was now merely a reminder of the mistake he had made. After that dark night, Joaquim's life was never the same. The henhouse, which once was a place where he found hope and opportunities, now only brought a weight of regret. Day after day, he passed by the empty nest, remembering the shine of the golden eggs Margarito had left for him. The farm, which had started to prosper, stopped growing, and Joaquim found himself trapped in a bitter routine, facing hardships that hadn't existed before. The villagers, noticing Joaquim's change, began to wonder what had happened to the once cheerful and optimistic farmer. He no longer spoke of his dreams or ideas to improve the farm. The riches he once dreamed of were now just memories, and all that remained was a profound loneliness and regret. In time, Joaquim learned a hard lesson. It wasn't the gold that brought happiness, but the constant and reliable process of building something valuable little by little. Margarito, his loyal friend, had been his greatest treasure, and his daily presence was what truly made him a prosperous man. By acting out of greed, he destroyed the only thing that truly brought him value and sustenance. Joaquim's story spread through the village and beyond, serving as a warning to those who, like him, might be tempted by the desire to have more. He realized that patience and gratitude were virtues far more precious than the gold he had longed for. Greed and impatience are like strong winds that can, in an instant, knock down everything we've taken time and dedication to build. In Joaquim's story, he had the chance to achieve a stable and prosperous life thanks to the gift destiny gave him, a goose that laid golden eggs, symbolizing a continuous and secure source of wealth. Each egg represented not only a valuable amount, but also the promise of a peaceful future. But in seeking instant fortune, Joaquim was blinded by the desire for more and ended up sacrificing what guaranteed him a life of small yet constant victories. The moral of this story reminds us that the best path isn't always the one that offers immediate results. Sometimes, it is patience that allows us to reap the sweetest fruits. When we try to rush things, seeking instant success, we may end up losing what, slowly and gradually, would sustain us in the long term. True value isn't in having everything at once, but in building something constant, stable, and lasting. Joaquim's lesson shows us we should appreciate and value each step of the journey, respecting the pace of things and resisting the temptation to take shortcuts. After all, what comes quickly goes quickly. It's in constancy and dedication that we find true prosperity. For those who act with patience and wisdom build something that lasts forever. To close our video, I want to leave an important reminder that applies to each of us. The true value of things often lies in the process, in every careful step we take. In the story we saw, the farmer had something special, a unique opportunity to prosper over time, but greed made him lose everything in a single impulsive decision. He learned the hardest way possible that when we are driven by haste or the desire to have it all at once, we risk losing what is most precious. So be mindful of this in your own life. Sometimes, the desire to have something quickly or the temptation to seek shortcuts can make us forget the value of patience and continuous effort. The secret lies in valuing what we have, appreciating each small achievement, and understanding that the path to what truly matters is built step by step. If we are patient and take care of the opportunities that arise, what we build calmly will become a fortress, something that no wind or storm can tear down. Remember, true wealth is not only what we accumulate, but also the way we choose to live and value every part of this process. So the next time you feel impatient or tempted to take the quicker path, think of the story of the farmer and the goose. The things built with patience are the ones that last forever.